year term. So then how does a graduate assistant soccer coach making only $4,000 a year take on a huge institution like St. John's and also the world's largest maker of athletic shoes? Answer, he takes them both to court. Jim Keady's complaint, filed in federal court last November, alleges that St. John's violated his First Amendment right to dissent and forced him out of his coaching job as a result of pressure from Nike. St. John's and Nike have separately filed motions to dismiss, both claiming the lawsuit lacks merit. When you sue, there's something you want. What is it that you want?
I want justice.
You also want $11 million.
Money's not important to me.
Then why $11 million? I mean, you were making $4 grand a year. You lose your job, now you're suing for $11 million. Now, I don't think you could live long enough to make that much money from St. John's.
You're right. I tried to speak to them on a moral level for 2 years to try and put moral pressure on them to do the right thing. And again, I got stonewalled at every turn. It's amazing how an $11 million price tag can make people perk up and listen to you and answer questions that they didn't want to answer before.
While Keady left the St. John's soccer program in 1998, he just received his master's in theology degree from St. John's this January, effectively cutting his final tie to the university. He now teaches at a Catholic high school and coaches soccer clinics in his free time, but Keady still hopes his lawsuit against St. John's and Nike will shed light on the events that may have ended his promising coaching career. Your opponents argue that rather than the social conscience that you claim to be, you're really a grandstander who likes being interviewed and getting in the spotlight and wants to get a lot of money out of this.
Yeah, I've been accused of personal promotion. I'm in a position now to utilize the media to raise awareness about the plight of these women. And if using this medium makes me have a messiah complex, as I've been accused of, or makes me a zealot, so be it.
D-Mac, you gave us an awful lot to chew on. Let me start with Jim Keady.
Sure.
He is clearly an idealist. Do you think he's naive about the world and the way it works?
In a way, maybe naivete is probably part of the job description when you want to be an idealist, but I think he is extraordinarily sincere, and that's what makes this work for him. I mean, he couldn't have the moral authority that I believe he does possess if he didn't have this sort of overwhelming sense of, I believe in this, why don't you?
Well, he may think it's wrong, but how does he reach the point where he thinks it's immoral to wear the swoop?
Because he's coming at it from a background of faith and religion. This isn't about just money or power or job or anything. Think about this. How many of us on a job that we really want are prepared to get a memo from the boss saying, stop doing this or you're out, and you keep doing it? That says something.
But he can't honestly believe that he could trash his boss and not suffer any repercussions.
But see, that's not the point. He doesn't care whether he suffers repercussions. And I think, look, I came to this as skeptical as you. I said, who is this guy? Why is he doing it? But once you meet Jim Keady, you get a sense that, okay, this guy's not only is he a true believer, but he's prepared to lay down a job he loves.
He could have always voted with his feet. Why didn't he just walk away?
Well, he felt that he had to fight the good fight, and I think he's like anybody else. He wanted to keep that job.
He really wanted it.
He really wanted it. In fact, he wants to go back. I mean, we talked about that a little bit in the piece. At one point, part of the lawsuit was to reinstate him in the job. I think we had to cut out the question about any bad blood that would be there.
Are the St. John's officials BSing us and themselves with this claim that, oh no, if we stay in business with them, we can influence
Well,
the
I am struck by the fact that we didn't get to talk to the coach or the athletic director. They sent us a guy who didn't really know the situation. Father Marr is a very nice guy, seemed very sincere, but the men who really made this policy work, we didn't get to talk to. I think that says a lot.
Did anybody ever try to settle this thing out of court?
No. By the time this got to court, I think there was so much acrimony, and I think also that the big powers that be don't think it's a threat, except in a PR sense, which is why we get to talk to them.
But money talks. All right. D-Mac, thanks very much.
Thank you, Brian.